Hello, in this video I'm going to show how we can use TBextremePLUS in order to be able to speed up the creation of requirement-based tests. Now this is the code that I want to check on the right here, and it's controlling basically the motors on this self-balancing car. And as the car tilts, you'll find the motors are going to slowly accelerate, and then when it tilts in the other direction they'll slow down, and then they'll start turning in the other direction. So that's the code I want to test. So what I've done first of all is I've taken a look at the ISO 26262 table 11. This talks about methods for deriving test cases for software unit testing. As we can see, the most important here is the analysis of requirements. So what I've done is I've configured TBextremePLUS so that it basically can help me perform this analysis of requirements. So of course we need some requirements. Here I've got 8 simple requirements for the function motors run, and what I've done is I've taken a look at these requirements, and then I've created a file where I basically specify here I've got requirement LDRA 012, the motor speed shall not be set when the stop button is pressed, and so basically the variable is pressed, and I want to try it as false and also true. More complex is the accelerometer. So this is where we're measuring the Y value, and if it's a value that's less than 5,200, then we're going to truncate it to minus 5,200. So I've got a value here that's just slightly smaller, and similarly I've got a value that's just slightly bigger than the upper speed limit. I've also got a value in the mid-range, and what I'd expect is this will get scaled by 52, and so 2,500 divided by 52 should give me a value of 48. Similarly, this, when scaled by 52, should give me a value of 100. And then finally, I've got this LDRA 011, and the motor speed, if the Y value is between minus 10 and plus 10, then the value should be set to 0. So there we can see I've got the value of minus 10 and plus 10. Now, this is TBrun, and the first thing I'm going to do is to create a sequence. So I'm going to go here and create a sequence. Let's call it unit test motor, and I want to create stubs. I want to create user globals because I'm only taking the single file here, so things might be missing. And I'm going to go and create tests for a subset, and all I want to test is this function motors run. So I'm going to exclude all the other functions in the same file. So there we can see they're all excluded except for this motors run function. Now what I need to do is I need to configure the extreme test. So we can see I've already configured it here so it knows about the various settings for analysis of requirements, but now I need to tell it to use a particular data file. So let me go and find a data file. So I've got one here, and if we take a look at this file, this is where we're going to see the values we looked at earlier. So for the function motors run, we can see we're basically using this variable is pressed, and also this variable with the value of Y. Okay, what's next? Well, let's go and click OK on that. And now what I want to be able to do is to create test cases. So I'm simply going to right click on my motors run, and I'm going to go and run the linear extreme test for the analysis of requirements. And as we can see, that has created 8 test cases, and it's now running them on my target. I've got an STM32 target, and I've used the STM32 cube IDE in order to be able to write this code, and I'm now basically using GDB in order to be able to communicate with the target, and those tests have now run. So let's see what we've done. So if we go and get a closer view of the test cases here, we can see that first of all we have an input is pressed. It's set to true in the first test case. All the others it's set to false. So if it's set to true, then I would expect that nothing should happen. So if I double click on here, it should not call any of these functions here. In fact, I could even verify that by going to the test case hit count properties, and I could tell it not to, or to check the stub is not executed. So I could do that for all these. At the same time, I could also go and actually put in a description here. Let's go back and take a look at maybe this one here. So here we've got a value of minus 5,200, is pressed is false. So if I double click here, I should be able to see in this particular case that we're expecting the right motor to turn anti-clockwise. I'm expecting that to be executed once. At the same time, the value that I'm passing to it should be 5,200 divided by 52, which is 100. And similarly, the other motor, the left motor, should turn in the opposite direction, and once again it should have the value 100. Okay, so I could continue like this, checking all these test cases, adding descriptions, but I've already done that to save time, so I'm going to go and load a sequence that I've previously created. So let's just load that, and if I take a look, let's just go and run this first of all, and if I go to my test case view, there we can see this is just regressing the test cases again, but there we can see I've put in a simple description, just the name of the requirement that I'm testing. And I've also run this with coverage, so I should be able to see whether or not my testing here has given me 100% coverage. Well, most important, all my tests have passed, so that means that's good. And then finally here I should be able to see the coverage, so I'll just wait for that to complete, and I'm expecting to get 100% coverage for this function motors run. Okay, and there we can see, yes, I've got 100% statement and branch decision coverage. Finally, I might want to look at a regression report, and in the regression report I can see I've put a description for my sequence. I can see each individual test case, I can navigate, I can find the description here, and I can find all the values that we've set, and I can check that the stubs have been hit, and I can also check the values that it's actually received. Okay, so that was just one way of using TBextremePLUS. And if you'd like more information, then please don't hesitate to contact us at LDRA. Thank you.